People move on. Oftentimes, after a separation, it may take a few years, it may take a few months, it might even be the reason why the separation occurred, but people move on into new relationships. Old questions arise, new questions arise. People want to know what their rights are with respect to property division, protecting property, and also with children. Blended families often entail two sets of kids coming into the picture. And it can be complex, but it doesn't have to be. Our role is to review your situation and give you some advice on how to move forward. For your new relationship, we always recommend a domestic contract, such as a cohabitation agreement and perhaps even a marriage contract, because the last thing you want to do is go through the turmoil that you may have gone through in your first breakup. So we review your scenario, review your obligations, review your goals, and plan. We help you draft an agreement that will meet the needs of you and your new family and help you avoid the pitfalls that you've experienced in your first breakup. We often get calls from prospective clients who are interested in protecting. You know, they've gone through a separation already and they don't want to go through the pain of that process again. So they want to plan. And I think it's a fantastic thing to do. So we invite them in and we speak with them about where they've been, where they are right now, and where they want to go, past, present, and future. We look at if they have a court order from the previous relationship or some sort of separation agreement. We review it with them thoroughly, let them know what their current obligations are, and then we consider that in drafting their cohabitation agreement or marriage contract with their new partner. We make their agreements as robust as possible, given what we know at the time, and we will ensure that the client is protected. An agreement between the new partners that is fair and offers stability, I believe, is actually easier than doing it on a first relationship, because typically both parties have been in a relationship before and know what it's like to separate and not have an agreement, and either negotiate, mediate, or even in a lot of situations, litigate through the courts. So the initial conversation, I find, is a lot easier. You have to review each party's court orders or agreements to figure out where they've been and where they are now with respect to support obligations, child and spousal support, and parenting schedules and decision-making responsibility, because first contracts first. You have to ensure that in the planning stages of the second contract, you consider previous court orders and previous contracts, because you don't want to contradict them. If you're entering into a blended family, and let's say you purchase a property together and there's a mortgage, well, qualifying for that mortgage, you need to consider support that you're paying or support that you're receiving. So it ties in with budgets, and with your new partner, you'd have to review that. You also want to consider parenting schedules, because if both of you are coming in with children, it might be nice that you have the children at the same time and you can do family things. It can also give you free time as a couple, because on the same weekends, your children and your partner's children are with the other parent. So those are some of the things you really need to look at in order to plan properly, and there'll be no surprises. Being a step-parent can be a wonderful experience. You have this child who is come into your life because of your new partner, and your children come into the life of your new partner. It can be fantastic, but it does raise some issues. First one that comes to mind is discipline, day-to-day discipline. It's a conversation that we believe you should have with your new partner, because if your stepchild still has their other parent actively in their lives, there has to be a conversation about roles and responsibilities, particularly with decision-making responsibility and discipline of this stepchild of yours. You know, you have to look at the previous agreement too. Do the parties have a separation agreement or court order? You know, does your partner have one with their former partner that outlines decision-making responsibility? We'd have to review that before we could give you some advice. If it doesn't, then you and your partner have to have that conversation. When negotiating a cohabitation agreement or a marriage contract for someone going into a second relationship, some people are under the impression that this new contract vitiates or completely makes their first contract null and void, meaning their separation agreement with their previous spouse. And that's not the case. No new agreement will terminate that previous agreement. Often I will get the question, can I reduce my child support that I'm paying my previous partner because I have a new child? And it's a fair question. And usually the answer is no. There are some situations where you can, but it's something that you need to discuss with your previous partner and get some good legal advice about it, because it's not as easy as people think. Don't make any assumptions. Don't start paying less, because you may be getting yourself into trouble. Some people say that, you know, they've heard or they read on the internet that, you know, if I've been with my new partner for a certain amount of time, she gets half my pension or he gets half of my RRSP. It all depends. Do you have a domestic contract, such as a cohabitation agreement or a marriage contract, that determines a property settlement upon your separation? That'd be my first question. How long have you been married? Do you have any previous agreements? So I always encourage people when they come to us, treat us like a new doctor that you're going to see. Tell us everything. We'll review it and we'll be able to advise on how your previous agreement will affect your new agreement. When entering a new relationship, I think the most important thing to do is have the discussion with your new partner about putting together a domestic contract, a cohabitation agreement or a marriage contract. It's very important to have the discussion with them. I think it's an easier discussion if both parties have already been separated and have gone through the process. And once you have that discussion, I think then each of you should approach your own lawyers to help you craft an agreement that represents your needs, represents their needs, and is fair. It's the best thing to do because it'll save you a lot of heartache and headaches if in fact the second relationship doesn't work out. It actually could maybe even save the relationship because you know what to expect. If you guys are open and honest with each other from the beginning, it's a great way to start a relationship. So I encourage you to plan. My name is Raffaelle Masellis. I'm the managing lawyer of the family law division here at Pace Law Firm. We have turned into a full service law firm over the years. We offer services in personal injury, corporate, commercial, real estate, criminal law, immigration, family law, and civil litigation. Family law intersects with all of those areas I just mentioned. So I'm very happy to be part of this team, and I think that you would benefit from hiring Pace Law Firm